everyone, welcome back to RTS and welcome back to our summer space shape up, and this is week 9, if you can believe that. Hard to believe. Okay, so up for today we're going to be talking about embellishments and embossing folders, and that alone would have us sit here for 3 days. Yeah, that's a lot of discussion right there, but I'm going to try not to make this so chatty, but you know how it is. I talk and I talk. So then the other thing I want to talk about is how are you maintaining things, and if you are having a problem with something, if you can't figure something out, if you need some help or direction, there's 2 things you can do. One is leave a comment in the section below. What is the category or the product, whether we're talking about it this week or the previous 8 weeks, it doesn't matter. Anything in this hobby, if it's creating a problem or a stumbling block, please list that, because I'm sure one of my lovely subscribers can give you a tip or a trick or a hack, or send you to a website where you could get some help, maybe a different container or a different way of looking at how to organize something. And then also to Deborah's Facebook group, go over there, post a photo, post a question, and I'm sure those ladies will pop in and help because they're awesome. Awesome. Okay, so then the other thing we're going to talk about is, I got the question, is that I talk about in our summer space shape up, I talk about level 1, level 2, and level 3, and what is the difference of those 3 levels. And for a very quick way, because you know how I talk, very quick way is level 1 is you're just addressing that product or that category. It's just addressing it, whatever that addressing would be for you. Some may be simply writing down an idea. For other people, it'd be thinking about a new container, that type of thing, or just putting it on your planner. I need to look at that category somewhere down the road. The other level 2 would be that you are simply going to physically touch that product and you're going to organize it, again, in whatever manner that would be for you. And then level 3, this is where you get into the thinking part. The thinking part is the mindset. The thing that what you're going to do in this mindset is that you're going to absolutely, look at this item and say, am I using it? What do I need to do with it? How can I use it more? Is it something I even like? It's a thought process. Okay, so with those 3 levels, there's 3 different levels of doing and thinking. So level 1 is just addressing, level 2 is just organizing, physically moving it, organizing it, and level 3 is the thinking. Do you even really want to keep that product anymore? That type of thing. So I wanted to address that, because in organizing, whether it's scrapbooking or in your home or in your car, at your desk, at work, there are 3 levels of organizing. Okay, so let's talk about embossing folders, because that is what's up first. Might as well get right into it. Yes. Okay, so embossing folders, what do I have here? Gather and find all your embossing folders and put them in one place, and that is the most simplest thing you can do for level 1. You just gather them all. Okay, and so I recently got a couple on a trip, so I need to, I just have them in one place. They're in a little place somewhere right here, and so I need to give them a number and do a little bit of sample, and I'll show you in my catalog how I do my embossing folders, but it's very quick, and a lot of people do this, and I think this is one of the quickest ways to do embossing folders, not only for expense, and then also 2, how you can access them, and then 3, how to use them, because that's the end goal in anything we do in Summer Space Shape Up, is to use that product. So for me, my embossing folders are simply in an Avery L pocket, assigned a number, and that is it. They are arranged in a container that I have in my space in numerical order, and when I want one, I go get it. Very, very simple. I just have the cost of a paper backing, cardstock backing. I buy my white cardstock in bulk at Sam's Club. I'll have the link below for that, because someone just recently asked me. And so I just cut them down to fit my Avery L pockets. And I do use the Avery L brand because that's what I started with, and I enjoy that. So I like them all to be the same, and I will tell you, they've held up over the last several years, so I'm happy with them. And then I will also have a link below for some other type of pockets that are not Avery L, but they have gotten good reviews as well, so I will list that. And then how that is how I organize them, and then how I use them is simply in my catalog binder. I'll have a video that talks more about that, because I do have some new subscribers to the channel. And so in this catalog binder, I have my punches, my embossing folders, and then my slice machine, and then my dies. Okay, that is all I have in here. And so this is just short and concise. And so for my embossing folders, I have a sample. Now these are not in any type of category not any type of order. I just simply put them in as I've just did them as organizing, or as I have purchased them or have gotten some for gifts. So as the number goes up, that would be the most recent ones I've gotten. Okay, and so I just assign them a number. I do a sampling of either whatever I need to do to see the image. It's usually a 3x3 piece of sampling, and so my recommendation is to use scraps. Of course, I like just using white. I think you see the image better. Don't use pattern paper to give you an image for your embossing folder. It doesn't give it a good image, because you want to be able to see these images really quick right off the bat. Okay, and I just gave them a number, and then of course that same number, what do I have here? I have one here that says what? Number 5. Yes, that's my birch trees. Okay, and so 5 here, I know to go get number 5. There's my birch trees. Now, if you do something like this, you can definitely take all your florals and put them on, keep them together. You could do all of your Swiss dots, anything that had to do with hearts. But remember, as you do that, that won't work in the future. Because you want to just keep going in numerical order. Totally Tiffany Spalding taught us that back in the day. Because if you have to rethink how you organize, you're just going to have a jumbled up mess. So for me, I just keep it going in numerical order. Okay, and so then also too, you'll see that for some of these are smaller representations. I just took it right from the packaging, so that's another option. You don't have to do a sample. It was easier for me to use the packaging on these embossing folders than to actually do one, because I didn't think the images showed up as well. So remember, you can also use packaging as well as creating a sample. You can do both. I say do whatever fits your style. I do a little bit of both. See, and there's a 4x4 sample. So what I wanted to say with that is take your scrap paper, run that through the embossing folder, and then cut down the size you want. Because sometimes you will do an image, and say if I pre-cut this at 4x4 and I ran it through the embossing folder, that might not give me the image I would want. So I will have more talk about that in a video listed below on round 1 of this same week of this same topic. But what I do is I just run a scrap through, and then I cut down the image that I want, that 3x3 or that 4x4. Okay, so then the next thing is that you would absolutely rethink. Now let me look at my notes here, because I go off the rails. When you are done, addressing these, putting these all in one pile, putting them all in one place, and then you look how many you really have. Boy, that's a wake-up call right there. Yes, and then think about what container would work for you. For a lot of us, it's this Avery L. And then the other thing I wanted to address is that sometimes Avery L pockets will not simply fit. And I think now they've made bigger pockets. When I did this project, they only had one size. But what I did was I took page protectors, and some people use a fuse tool. I used my vacuum sealer that was in my kitchen, and I just took 8.5 by 11 page protectors, and I made my own pockets to fit some of my bigger We Are Memory Keepers embossing folders. So please don't limit yourself as to what is only sold on the market. You can create your own pockets using something you already have in your own stash or inventory. Okay, so then the other thing is level 3. This is where the mindset comes into, okay? So let me pull a couple of these so we could see what we're talking about. Okay, so there we have a basket weave, we have birch trees. So the mindset for level 3 is that you could absolutely look at each one of your samples or your embossing folders. It depends on what stage you are in during this process, and say, do you even like these? Do you even like this? Do you see a purpose of this? Does this product even need to have space in your space? And for some people, that answer is going to be different. And then also, there may just be a couple embossing folders you don't like, you could get rid of. Or sometimes it's the entire category. Okay, I know that's scary for a lot of people, but for me, the day that I realized I am not a mixed media, inky, messy type person, and then I gradually purged those items, it was very freeing for me, because I just took one more thing off my to-do list. I took one more product off my I haven't used that in a while list. So embossing folders may be that for you. Now, this is a type of product that I always say, this doesn't take up a lot of space. It didn't cost a lot of money. So before you purge, give it a second consideration. And the reason I'm saying this is because the cost of supplies are going up. this really wasn't a big cost, and it wasn't a big investment. So you can look at it two ways. You don't have a lot of money invested in it. If you don't like it, get rid of it. And then also too, it doesn't take up a lot of space, so don't purge it until you're ready. That is very, I think purging is a very personal endeavor. Purge when you want to purge, not when someone else tells you to purge. Okay, so do you like them? Do you even use them? Do you even want them anymore? Okay, so then consider. And then the other option is that maybe you could just scale down. You don't have to get rid of embossing folders completely, but maybe scale down. Instead of having 100, maybe you only want 50. So then you would go in and select your favorite 50 embossing folders. That number is different for everybody as well. I know some people that have embossing folders that is up to 300 and 400. Yes, that's a lot of embossing folders. But for card makers, this is an absolutely beautiful tool to have. Okay. So that is the embossing folder talk. I will have some more videos listed below that if you want to talk more about this, see more about that, it will be listed below. So now let's go to embellishments. Oh, howdy doody, yes. Okay, so let me move this to the side and I will come back and we'll talk about embellishments. Hold on. Okay, so let's talk about embellishments because this is a huge category to talk about. And so when it comes to embellishments in this summer space shape up, I do want to mention that this is probably the 4th or 5th time I've talked about embellishments. So if it just seems like I'm skimming over, it's because I've talked in depth about this. So if you hit that show more button, there will be some more videos that talk about it in more details as far as actual organizing. So please look at those videos. And then also too, don't forget when you go to Deborah's Facebook group, in this PDF that I created last year in round 1, there is an embellishment list. And if you look here, this isn't an exhaustive list by any means, but there is a huge number of items in this category. So you can approach embellishments in one of two ways when it comes to just doing a summer space shape up. You can simply just look around your space. Where do you have embellishments tucked here, there, and everywhere? And then you can absolutely address these product items as one at a time. Put your brads in one container, put your flowers in another container, or you can look as embellishments as a whole and then just find one tote, one bin, one basket, and just gather them and get them in one place. This answer and this process will be different for so many people because if you're a new scrapbooker, you don't have as many. If you're a long-time scrapbooker like me, you have a lot of each one of those. So it has to be approached differently. And I'm going to show something here in a little bit about how things are approached differently per person. And we're going to talk about that. So when it comes to embellishments, I have this whole list: acrylic, beads, bling, brads, sequins, tags, washi, wood veneer, this whole list. And again, this isn't exhaustive. You may have some things on this list that in your space that I don't have on this list, and vice versa. I may have some things on this list you haven't even purchased. Again, it's definitely one of those things that's a personal journey when you talk about embellishments. So let's talk about the level 1 of embellishments. Again, it would be simply just find your embellishments. Maybe you have them stuck in your car trunk because you bought them and never got them out of a bag. Maybe you just have them thrown here, there, and everywhere. Just address them. Put them in one place. So when you do want to play with brads, you know to go to that bin. If you want to play with some flowers, you know to go to get to that bin. Just make it simple on yourself. Just gather them and put them in one place. Find one little home. It doesn't mean they have to stay there. It's just you know where to go if you want to play with them, because that's the purpose of having embellishments, so you can play with them. And then level 2 would be absolutely organizing these. Again, are you going to take this embellishment category as a whole and organize all your embellishments together, or break it up? Okay? And even with breaking things up, let's talk about that. You can absolutely do your embellishments by collection, or you can do it by color, or you can do by product type. And I will say that for most of us, you're going to do a little bit of each one of those. When it comes to embellishments, there's not one size fits all, and there's no perfect way. Stop looking for it, and stop looking for that perfect container. The container that works now and in your space and in your style is the perfect container. Just use what works for now, and tell yourself in 6 months, 8 months, a year from now, you may change that. But with that being said, when it comes to embellishment, if you want to get organized and you want to maybe get a better situation when it comes to your embellishments, you need to stop shopping. Plain and simple, because if you don't stop shopping, you can never get a handle on what you already have. And then that's where level 3 comes in, as that you start with that mindset. You start thinking, do I have embellishments that I don't even like? Do I have embellishments I don't even need? And why do I keep buying embellishments? So again, stop shopping until you get a handle, and then you start thinking, where do I want these permanently? How much space am I going to allocate for my washi? How much space am I going to allocate for a wood veneer? How much space am I going to allocate for flowers? And then you can start shopping again once you just determine that organizing part, that containerizing part, okay? But you must stop shopping. You just need to, for a bit, till you get this organized. That's the best advice I would say if I was doing this today. Just stop shopping, stop bringing things in, get a handle on what you already have. Think about your containers. Is it big enough? Is it going to be accommodating for when you do buy some things? And then level 3, you need to look at these items. Do I like these anymore? And so I wanted to talk about that a little bit. So say for me, for washi, a couple things I've learned as I've went is that I no longer like Dollar Tree or Target Dollar Spot, Five Below, those type of places. I don't like washi from there. I think you get what you pay for. So a couple years ago, I just said stop buying them. You don't like them. It doesn't matter how cute they are. It doesn't matter what a good deal. If you don't like them, you don't like them. And then also too, thin washi. So even though I like washi, I have an abundance of washi, and I probably will keep buying washi. And to think I thought I would never buy washi at all, amazing. But there are things within this category I can stop shopping. Okay, I don't need to shop for cheap Dollar Tree washi anymore. It doesn't stick. It doesn't work. It's okay for mail, and then thin washi, it doesn't work on scrapbook pages the way I would want it. Okay, again, this, you have to know your style. If you use washi for planner pages or mail or cards, then this might work for you. And then also too, when it came to embellishments, if you look at this list, there are maybe some things on here that you've even forgot you had, and then there may be some things on here that you just know that you need to purge because you're never going to use them and you don't like them. And so for me, rubber and resin is one of those, and that both of those. Rubber I no longer buy because I don't think it holds up well on your pages, and resin is getting to be too lumpy and bumpy on my layouts. Even though I love resin pieces, I had to stop buying those too, and then what I did have in those categories I purged. So as you're organizing and talking and thinking about embellishments, there's even more thought process about what can you stop buying. What do you need to look for? What are the colors that you don't have a lot of? For us, a lot of us, it's purple. When you go to shop embellishments, tell yourself, I don't need to keep buying yellow washi. I need to only buy purple washi. Again, a thought process. So then let's talk about the 3 ways as far as collection or product type. This would be product type and then by color. So another thing I want to talk about when it comes to that decision-making process. It's going to be different for you because everybody has a different style. So years ago, when I started to organize by color, my embellishments was one of those first things that I did. And so I had a great big canvas bin for each one of my colors in my rainbow. And so then over time, that bin I realized was too big. I had too much in there. And then every time I wanted to do a layout, I had to grab those canvas bins and bring them to my space, put them on my floor, trip over them. And then a lot of those things that was at the bottom of that canvas bin, I didn't reach for because I had too much. So then I had to downscale. So I purged, and then I went to something smaller, which is photo boxes. Okay. So then the next process in this embellishment organizing for me was that photo boxes worked really well. They were smaller. I had to purge items. I purged quite a bit at that time. And then I could just simply reach what I wanted for, no problem. Well then, over time, what I ran into is that this was even too big for me to pull out when I wanted to create a page. So then I went to something as these drawer systems. So as you go in your process, as you go in organizing, sometimes you may have to divide and conquer your embellishments in order to play with them. So for me, for my embellishments, this is too much for me to decide on, but you see this is mainly by color, and I have ribbon in there, and I have enamel dots, and I have brads, and see? Just remember that I have brads in here. I'm going to show you something. And so then I have some ribbon in there. I even have some washi in there, even though I have washi here. So if you need to separate and divide and conquer your embellishments in order for you to play with them, that's what you need to do. And that is what I finally ran into one day. I realized I do like the majority of my embellishments by color, but I needed them in a smaller scale. So then I took some and then I created these drawers. Again, another video listed below for more about that. So it has to be something you decide. Don't go on Pinterest and Learn from me. Don't go on Pinterest and look at the newest way to organize embellishments, and don't look at the newest container that people are using to organize embellishments. You'll waste time and you'll waste money. Go by what your style is, how big your space is, what you can afford, and what you enjoy. Okay, so for me, I have embellishments in like flat, die cut, that type of thing, and then I have a drawer for lump and bump. And so if I pulled these two simple drawers out, whatever color I want, I have enough and a variety and an assortment to create a page, and I have plenty of options. So that, and again, there's more talk about that in the organizing embellishments video. So now let's talk about, let's just pick one item. Okay, so let's have that conversation. Okay, I just want to show you that this is just not a simple, embellishments is not simple to organize, and you have to think about this. So I want to talk about brads for a minute, because a lot of you know that brads is my favorite embellishments, and once you know your favorite embellishment, that's a game changer too, because then you can stop spending money on these other things just because it's new and trendy. You don't have to buy it anymore. Buy what you love, stick with what you love, and you'll always love it. You'll never want to purge it because you love it. Brads is one of those things for me. For everybody it's different. Enamel dots is something that a lot of people love, and we wouldn't purge them. Plus supplies are going up. So I have brads in a brad bowl because it's my favorite embellishment and I have it nearby. Easy peasy. And then I have, because this is my favorite embellishment, I also have brads in one of these embroidery floss containers because of the amount I have, and these are by color. Okay, these are my brads by color. These are just brads in a bowl. Pretty. This is pretty. This is functional. Okay. And then what else do I have? Then I have some brads that I keep because it's collection. Here's Cartabella. Here's some My Mind's Eye. Okay, these are what I keep, and I put them either in my embellishment bucket bin, or I keep them with a kit, or I keep it with a collection. So that is another way. We're just talking brads. And then, what do I have again? Then I have a photo box that is full of nothing but brads. So you can see in my process, I have just in the category of brads. I was going to say I have them in 4 places, but no, really 5 places, because did you notice in that yellow color photo box, what was here? There's even more brads. Yeah. So with that being said, I wanted to show you that. I'm a longtime scrapbooker, and I feel I pretty much have my embellishments and my inventory organized the way I scrap. But guess what? It's not a one-size-fits-all. I have some here. I have some by color. I have some by manufacturer. I have some just on a pretty dish. I have my overflow in another container. There's no wrong way, and you may have to divide and conquer. It depends on how much you have, where you have it, where you use it. Again, that's where level 3 comes in. And give yourself permission that it's okay to have some here and some there. It just doesn't... Can you imagine if I took every brad I own and tried to find one bin and one basket? Impossible. And then the kicker is try to work from that one basket or bin when you want to do a layout. That's why I have some here nearby. I have some by color. I have some by collection. I have my overflow, and then I even have more overflow. It just works out that way. So that is what I wanted to show in this summer space shape up when it comes to embellishments. You have to honestly give yourself permission to have time to think about embellishments. It doesn't happen overnight, doesn't happen in a weekend, and then there are times where you'll find yourself spinning the wheels where you're buying container after container and it doesn't work. That happens too. I've done that many, many times, especially with washi. I am now, I'm probably on my 5th or 6th, I lost track of how many times I've done my washi, and I'm getting ready to redo it again. And why? Because I keep buying this product. There's no other reason for me to keep buying another container to organize my washi. It's because I just keep buying it. And so that's what I run into. That's what you're going to run into. And that's my advice I want to give to you. If you want to get a handle on embellishments, stop shopping for a bit and then put the brakes on, sometimes permanently, to either not buy a product at all, purge something, or then also to limit how much more of this are you going to bring in. And then when you buy that container to do your organizing, tell yourself, okay, this is going to be the allotted space. Once this drawer is full of washi, I'm no longer going to buy anything. But with that, take it with a grain of salt. Everybody always has new things coming in because you get gifts. You win prizes, you get Happy Mail. So You need to have that room, that allowance, that there will be something more coming into your space, okay? Unless you're one of these type of people that are very disciplined. When something new comes in, you take something out. I am not that disciplined. No, if I love it, I'm going to keep it, because I am in the season where I'm not buying as much, so I want to keep what I have, because what I have I love, okay? And so I think that's all I wanted to say for week 9 when it comes to this summer space shape up. The shape up's going to take a long time when it comes to embellishments. It doesn't happen overnight. It doesn't happen. There's no formula. I guess that's what I want to say. There's no formula when it comes to your embellishments. Either you take it by one great big group as embellishments, give yourself an allotted space and a container for your embellishments, or you can simply take each product, braids, washi, bling, enamel dots, wood veneer, and then you divide it up and then give yourself an allotted space for that. And then you can see in my process, sometimes I mix it all together. Even though I have braids always, I don't have them mixed in with anything else. I still have them in separate places. Oh, and then don't forget, I have braids even in here. You see what I'm saying? It's a never-ending process. So give yourself permission. And here's the thing. Have fun with it. Have fun knowing that you have braids in a bowl, or you have flowers in a bin, or you have chipboard in a basket. Give yourself permission that it doesn't have to be perfect. We're not going for Pinterest worthy, because that really sometimes isn't even the truth. You know what I'm talking about. Those Pinterest pictures that we see, those are staged photos. That's not the way most people's spaces look. Just keep that in the back of your mind. Absolutely. So that is what I have for Summer Space Shape Up Week 9. I hope any of this helped. I hope you got a little bit of a tip on something that I shared. And again, there's more videos below where we talk more about actually organizing containers. You can use that type of thing. So definitely look at those videos below. And if you have a way of organizing something that is really working in your space when it comes to any embellishment, please share below, because we can always get an idea from you. Absolutely. So that's all I have for today. Come back to RTS, because I'm going to keep showing braids. Absolutely. Okay, come back to RTS, because you never know what we're going to do. Bye.